another edition of Your Property Matters with me, Mark Sturm. And all of my decades of experience today, I would like to talk to you about how to get the most out of a viewing in your own home. I'm not saying that you're going to be doing the viewing, because ideally your estate agent is always going to carry out the viewings for you. But what I want to do is talk to you about the preparation, your role within the viewing, and the best ways in which to get feedback and the importance of feedback on a viewing, or should I say from a viewing. So first of all, the golden rule in my books and in my opinion is no vendor should be doing their own viewings unless it is an absolute emergency. The reason being is that you tend to find that buyers, first of all, will not be genuine with you. They'll be all nice smiles, and they'll be happy to see you, happy to chat to you about whatever, but they're not going to completely focus on the property that they're viewing. Number two is it makes you nervous. It could actually put potential buyers off, because obviously they're going to know that you may come across a little bit desperate, that you want to sell, or desperate you need to sell, or the opposite, completely aloof. So I know that you know your property better than any estate agent would know your property, but a good estate agent will get to know the key facts about your property, and that shouldn't make any difference. So the ideal scenario is that you either leave the property on the viewing and let the agent walk around, or if you are there, that you just sit in the garden. It's quite funny, actually. I've got a property on the market right now, and my vendors are always sitting in the garden. And you know what? Every buyer that sees the property does not want to go and walk into the garden. And it's not because the garden isn't nice. I just don't think they want to intrude where the vendors are sitting. So the ideal scenario is you go for a walk. If you've got pets, please take them out for a walk. I love dogs so much. I love cats just as much as dogs. But buyers don't want dogs jumping up at them. I've got some viewings that I do right now, and I do get jumped up on all sorts of things with dog fur and hair all over me when I leave the property. I have to think about what I'm wearing. And you just don't want that to happen with a buyer, a potential buyer. So here we go. Before the viewing, make sure your house is clutter-free. It doesn't have to be spotless. It doesn't have to be gleaming, although it would be nice if your kitchen, for example, would be shining and clean and decluttered, and the bathroom the same. And all the bedrooms, all the beds being made, all the clothes away in wardrobes. And a nice little tip, actually, regarding bedrooms and wardrobes, because buyers always want to look in wardrobes. So leave a wardrobe door wide open, the best one, the one that's the neatest, so they can see the depth of the wardrobe. If you've got storage under the bed and things like that, just leave the drawer open, wide open. So when people come in, they don't start opening things, but they can see for themselves what there is. To do a presentation. So if you've got a coffee table, maybe just put a few nice little magazines out on the table, lifestyle magazines, but generally keep it clutter-free. If you've got a computer in the corner, make sure that it's switched off, but it's seen in the corner so people can see where they could work. Or if you've got obviously a little office room, that would be great. If it's a warm day, windows open. Things like if you're close to a main road, not windows open. So it's just about being clever, things like that, because, okay, the fact is that people know you're on a main road, but what they would want to rather hear it a bit silent in the house and just a very, very faint sound of the main road, rather than the windows open and cars just screaming past the whole time. So your agent does the viewings. Make sure your agent points out, doesn't say the obvious. I'd hate it, this is the lounge. Well, obviously it's got sofas in it. It tends to normally be the lounge. This is the kitchen. Well, I'm sure that's, pretty obvious as well. There's a cooker in there. There's fridges. There's everything else. You don't need to mention this is this and this is that, unless, of course, the rooms are completely bare and empty. But what you would say, or what an agent could be saying is, so in this lounge, for example, all the sash windows are all double glazed sashes. There is a working fireplace, or that is a working fireplace. The radiators in this room are modern or they've been replaced. So, you can look at it like that. The floorboards are natural, or the flooring is engineered wood. You get good Wi-Fi in this property. There's all this, there's all this. So you don't have to talk about the room, but just make sure they're talking about things within the property that would fit into a potential buyer's lifestyle. The agent shows the buyers around the property. They want to know things like if it's a flat, what the service charges, the length of lease. If it's a house, make sure you've told your agents what your neighbours are like, so they can talk about the neighbours are families to the left, and there's an older couple to the right, and behind the house is a nice young couple. Talk about the garden. Talk about, for example, if it's a low maintenance garden, all the things that don't need to be done in it, all the things that do need to be done, the driveway, if the car, how many cars this particular owner can fit onto their driveway. So talk about the practical things, talk about the location, the area, the parks nearby, the schools, how close it is to walk to a town or the local shops and things like that. What I tend to find at the moment is it is a struggle at the end of a viewing to get feedback. So there's 2 points of feedback. There's whenever I finish a viewing, I tend to walk out with the viewers, have a little chat with them at the end of the front garden or the driveway and just get their initial thoughts, try to extract some truth within those thoughts, because they then tend not to say too many negative things. I then go back in the house, quick chat with my vendors and just let them know, or I'll phone them up if they're out and just say to them, this is what their initial thoughts are about the property. And then I let the viewers know that I will be contacting them the next day. What's the best way? Email, text, WhatsApp, whatever it happens to be, on the phone ideally, and get their feedback. And the reason why an estate agent wants to get feedback, obviously they want to get an offer. Then its feedback could be a multitude of things. It could be that everyone's saying the third bedroom's too small. Well, okay, you can't do too much about that. But for example, one of my vendors has so much clutter in his third bedroom that I've just asked him, please clear everything out completely and put a bed in there. That's it. And then people will see the size of it, but they can make their own opinion on how to use it. So feedback helps to overcome objectives for future viewings. And it is very, very important that your agent gets feedback. So to summarize, on a viewing, first point of call is make sure your house is presentable, clutter-free, and just looks clean and tidy. Number 2 is ideally go out while the viewing's taking place or go into the garden. Number 3, make sure your estate agent knows when you bought the house, what your neighbours are like, what the area is like, any bits and pieces, when the boiler was fitted, when it was last serviced, this and this and that, so that they can be trusted to answer all the questions for you. Number 4, make sure your estate agent is getting feedback and feeds it back to you and continually makes a plan to either get you under offer straight away and get you sold, or to work through the objectives that people are coming up with about your property and get that to the result of getting you under offer. So that's my short little story on how viewings should take place in your own home. If you have any questions about that at all, please give me a call on the number to my side here. And I look forward to helping you with any of your property matters. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.